Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Jayo Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe. Jayo Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Shri Radhe. Jayo Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Shri Radhe. Jayo Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadrama. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari, Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Namo Vishpat Paramhansha Pariprakshakacharya Ashtotter Shate His Divine Grace Abhay Charabinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Beauty Founder Acharya, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामकुंड राधाकुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की श्री श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की गंगा माई जमुना माई की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। उपस्थित समेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, titled Prayers of Queen Kunti and Parikshit Saved. Text number, we are going to cover two texts today, 16 and 17. I think both of them are written on the board. So what I'll do, I'll read 16 and read the purport and translation, and then we'll recite 17 together. So text 16. Mamam stahi itad ascharyam sarva ascharme achyute ya idam maya ya devya Srijati avati hinta ajaha. Hanti ajaha. Translation. O Brahmanas, do not think this to be especially wonderful in the activities of the mysterious and infallible personality of Godhead. By his own transcendental energy, he creates, maintains, and annihilates all material things, although he himself is unborn. Purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The activities of the Lord are always inconceivable to the tiny brain of the living entities. Nothing is impossible for the Supreme Lord, but all his actions are wonderful for us, and thus he is always beyond the range of our conceivable limits. The Lord is the all-powerful, all-perfect personality of Godhead. The Lord is 10% perfect, whereas others, namely Narayana, Brahma, Shiva, and the demigods are, and all other living beings possess only different percentages of such perfection. No one is equal to or greater than him. He is unrivaled. So that was text 16. Now text 17. We will recite together. Brahma tejo vinirmuktir. Brahma tejo vinirmuktir. Atma jai saha Krishnaya. Atma jai saha Krishnaya. Prayana bhimukam Krishnam. Prayana bhimukam Krishnam. Idam aha prithasate. Idam aha prithasate. Brahma tejo vinirmukter. Atma jai saha Krishnaye. Prayanabhimukham Krishnam. Idam aha prithasati. Tejo vinirmukte. Atma jai saha Krishnaya. Prayanabhimukham Krishna. Idam aha prithasati. Brahma tejo vinirmukte. Atma jai saha Krishnaya. Krishnam Idam aha prithasati. Mataji. Brahma tejo vinirmukte. Atma jasha Krishnaya. Prayanabhimukham Krishnam. Idam aha prithasate. Word by word meaning. Brahma tejaha. The radiation of the Brahmastra. Vinirmukti. Being saved from. Atma Jai. Along with her sons. Saha. With. Krishnaya. Draupadi. Prayana. Outgoing. Abhimukham. Towards. Krishnam. Unto Lord Krishna. Idam. This. Aha. Said. Pritha. Kunti. Sati. Just devoted to Lord Krishna. Translation. Thus saved from the radiation of the Brahmastra, Kunti, the chaste devotee of the Lord, and her 5 sons, and Draupadi addressed Lord Krishna as he started for home. Purport. Kunti is described here as Sati, or chaste, due to her unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna. Her mind will now be expressed in the following prayers for Lord Krishna. A chaste devotee of the Lord does not look to others, namely any other living beings or demigod, even for deliverance from danger. That was all along the characteristics of the whole family of the Pandavas. They knew nothing except Krishna, and therefore the Lord was also always ready to help them in all respects and in all circumstances. That is the transcendental nature of the Lord. He reciprocates the dependence of the devotee. One should not, therefore, look for help from imperfect living beings or demigods, but one should think for all the help from Krishna, who is competent to serve his devotees. Such a chaste devotee also never asks the Lord for help, but the Lord, out of his own accord, is always anxious to render it. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshumitham Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Swadvaitam Savadutam Vayana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpataruvasya kripa sindhu vaevacha patithanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are at the very last verse before the prayers of Queen Kunti starting. So this is the last verse before the prayer starting. So in Srimad Bhagvatam, always the verses before any prayer starts. Like, we see Kunti Maharani's prayer. Next chapter, we will see Bhishma Pitamaha's prayer. So before actually the prayer starts, Srila Prabhupada, through the purports, always set the mood of the devotees, who is actually offering the prayers. So here we see that, how Srila Prabhupada is actually explaining Kunti Maharani's characteristics. And obviously the word here used is sati, right? So this is how the mood is creating before the prayer starts. And also, the prayer, actually, after the prayer finished, then usually the Lord replies. So whenever the prayer happens, obviously after that, the Lord replies. So when you read those replies, then actually you can understand the meaning of the whole prayer. The entire prayer becomes fulfilled. So that's why when we read, any section of Bhagavatam where we have going through the prayers, it's very important that we starts from where the mood has been set, and also after it when the Lord actually replies to the prayers. So in this verse, mainly in the last two verses, we are saying that obviously what Krishna's position is, and this verse what Kunti Maharani's, how her mood was and how she was sati. So from the materialistic point of view, if you see that the word, when we say sati, what does it mean by sati? Or the chest. Specifically, it means that when someone has only one person in their heart and they don't have anyone else. So usually, it's actually denotes for, married woman. And it says, okay, she is a sati. Means she doesn't have anyone else in her heart other than the husband. But in that, that is the chastity, sati from the materialistic point of view. But in this case, when Kunti, she has been addressed as sati, the meaning behind that is, in Kunti Maharani's heart, there is no one else than Krishna. And that is the real chastity. So the real chastity means when there is no one else in the heart except Krishna. And that's actually counted for unalloyed devotion. When actually someone goes through when someone reaches that state of unalloyed devotion, that is the state when someone has only Krishna in their heart and no one else. So we see that Kunti Maharani, her devotional service was unalloyed and also unflinching. It's very important to understand, what does it mean by unflinching? If you suppose, if we describe the word flinching, means if there is a water, you go to a lake and you put a stone there, and obviously there is a ripple created. So that flinching. So in such a way, when someone goes through the material, all the traumas, all the injustice, then we see, in Kunti Maharani's life, there are so many ways, so many things happen in her life. She lost her husband, and then they have been thrown out of their kingdom, and they had to, before that, the whole episode with Draupadi. So that was like, so hard to go through. Like when you are kind of head of your family and you can't do anything. But that didn't deter her from executing the devotional service. So she was always thinking about Krishna. In all those very hard situations, the Laksha Griha, like, when they were put into the house by their own relative and the house was set on fire. So this actually, like her devotion, like, her services never get affected by any of this, like, injustices. So that's why, like, it's actually been addressed by Bhishma Pitama, which we will now read. That now today is the last day of Damodar month, and the last 5 days are like, Bhishma Panchak, or like, as I said, when Bhishma is offering the prayers during this time to Lord Krishna, and also giving his instructions to the Pandavas. We will go through the prayers. Before that, one point to note here that it's not only with Queen Kunti. Everyone in this material world goes through these, like, hard conditions. And sometimes it feels like it's injustice. And people who often they sit down and they actually think, oh, why this is happening to me? Like, why this is happening to me? Like, this is injustice. Now, if you're in material world and if you're sitting down and if you're thinking this, then you are in a wrong place. Because this material world was built for that. So injustice will happen. Depend how you deal with it. So when someone is in a devotional platform, they actually deal with it in a different way compared to someone who is actually think that, okay, like, they are not thinking about Krishna. They deal with the situation in a completely different way. So we see that in the prayers of Bhishma Pitama, which is text number in the next chapter actually, chapter 9, prayers of Bhishma Pitama, and text number 12. I'll just read the verse. Aho kastam aho annayam yadyam dharmanandanaha jivitum narhatha klishtam vipra dharma achyuta shraya. Translation. Bhishmadev said, "Oh, what terrible sufferings and what terrible injustices you good souls suffer for being the son of religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under those tribulations, yet you were protected by the Brahmanas, God, and religion." So Bhishma Pitama here, like, addressing the Pandavas and Kunti Maharani, and he's actually showing his appreciation for them, that all of you, although, like, you've been so close to the dharma from the beginning, but yet you went through so many of this tribulation. Yet there was never a single point in your life that you actually deterred from the path of dharma. And then he actually says, like, what is the reason? What is the reason that they didn't actually deter from the path? Because they always followed the instruction by Vipra, Dharma, and took shelter of Achyuta Ashraya. So when we say Vipra is like, obviously the literary meaning is Brahmanas, but here it mentioned the Vedic culture. So they never, ever, like, get out of, like, of the culture. Like, they didn't do anything which is not prescribed. So someone says, like, for specifically for Kunti Maharani, like, her entire life was based on, like, her devotion towards Krishna. So that is the main gist of the Vedic culture. Vedic culture means you have a God-centered. Anything you do, it should be God-centered. If you are in a brahmachari ashram, yes, it should be a God-centered ashram. If you are in a grihastha ashram, then your family is a God-centered family. If you are in a vanaprastha, and obviously sannyas is towards that, but vanaprastha, you are moving towards that everything should be towards God. So that is the actual mean of the Vedic culture. So never ever get away from it. That was the first criteria. The second one was vipra, and then the second one was dharma. So we know that dharma is savai dharmam, savai pumsam paradharma. We know the verse. So Prabhupada very clearly explained that what is dharma in the purport, that dharma means occupation. So for human being, and this is at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita also, Srila Prabhupada explains that the dharma, because religion, it's a very big word. What is the actual meaning out of it? So when Srila Prabhupada explained it very simply, that dharma is something which is in you and that cannot be changed. Very simply, so dharma means if somebody sit down and try to, that means let's take all the scriptures, let's sit down and let's understand what's the meaning of religion. And everyone, it's too hard, I don't want to think about it. But Srila Prabhupada, very simply, what is in you that cannot be changed? And he gave example. Sugar, the dharma is sweet. Whatever you do, you cannot make sugar bitter. Water is is liquid and it will flow. That is the dharma of water. So similarly, for human, the dharma is to serve. And the parodharma, what is the highest occupation, is being the servant of the Lord. So you are serving someone. So you're always serving someone. If you think, from the beginning of your life, you are serving someone. You want to serve someone. But the main service is to serve the Lord. So, and that actually get depicted by our action. Right? How our action, its individual action shows that, if that person is following it or not. So if you are totally, serving the Lord, then that means that you are totally dependent on the Lord. Correct? You are serving someone, that means you are totally dependent on that, or that person. So Kunti Maharani, we see from her example, because we are reading, we'll be reading the after this the prayers. Kunti Maharani from her life, towards the entire lifespan, whenever there were any kind of injustice happen, she never ever went to any of the Kauravas or the Pandavas or any other. She herself was a very very powerful woman. She got all these boons from the sages, but still she was always dependent on Krishna. So that is one of the main characteristics for an unalloyed devotee. So if you see that what is the characteristics for a devotee who actually performing unalloyed devotion, is totally dependent on Krishna. And you can see I think in 1866 in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining that if you want to perform unalloyed devotion, only thing that you have to do is surrender to me completely. That's it. But we know it's hard. But Krishna is saying that whatever happened, just surrender unto me. So that's the second point, which is the dharma. And then we have the third one, which is obviously the Achyuta Ashraya. So they always took the shelter of the Lord. And that we see from the example, from the Pandavas, from the example when Arjuna and Duryodhana went to Krishna to ask for his help, like, which side he will be in the battle of Kurukshetra. So Krishna was sleeping, and Arjuna came, and Duryodhana came. Duryodhana came first, and this is the change in the, you can see the mentality. Duryodhana thinks, okay, let me go and just sit beside him so that whenever he wakes up, I can ask him first, because I'm nearer to him. So he wakes up, and I'll ask him, okay, because his mind was fixed that I want the Narayana Sena. Because Krishna already, he already said that he's not going to take up any weapon. So what's the point of taking him? I want the Narayani Sena. So he made up his mind. So he went there and he sat next to Krishna. Arjuna, by the way, he came and he sat next to the feet of Lord. Because that was his mindset. That my position is at the feet of the Lord. So when Krishna woke up, obviously, Krishna said, Krishna saw Arjuna first and said, oh, Arjuna, you are here. So what can I do for you? And then suddenly Duryodhana from the side, excuse me, I'm here first. Can I ask first? And Krishna, if Duryodhana was cunning, Krishna is also Krishna is best in everything. He said, yeah, you can, but just as per our culture, the younger one always get the chance first, because that's as per the family ritual. We give the younger ones the first chance. So we give chance to Arjuna. And Duryodhana was like, oh, now we are I lost the Narayani Sena. And to his amazement, he was surprised. And also he was laughing in his mind at the, he was thinking, Arjuna is stupid. And he asked for the Krishna, Krishna, can you please be on my side? So I know that you will not be fighting, but can you be the charioteer? So Krishna says, yes, I can. And Duryodhana was laughing in his mind, obviously. But he said, okay, then if there is no choice, then I will just take the Narayani Sena, what's left. But he came for the Narayani Sena. But that is what, we see that in the Pandavas, that they wanted to have that, always the Achyuta Ashraya. That is the only thing that they were hankering for. So these are the three things that Bhishma Pitamada is saying, that, the Pandavas and the Kunti, that because of this, the chastity is there. Because other than that, if you are just doing it for yourself, then what happened? That if you are not doing it for Krishna, Pandavas was they were very powerful, and they should have think that we could, like Duryodhana, that we could defeat all of them. But their first point of first of all they thought that whoever is coming, if Krishna is not in our side, then we are not going to win. So that shows the unalloyed devotion. So in that verse 1, 9, 12, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, as long as a person is fully in cooperation with the wishes of the Lord, guided by the bona fide Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and strictly following religious principle, one has no cause for despondency. However, trying the circumstances of the life. So no matter how much there is turbulence in the life, how much injustice happen, whenever you have, if you have taken the shelter of the Vipra, Dharma, and Achyuta Ashraya, nothing can deter you from that path. It's absolutely it's proven here. Krishna is confirming that just, surrender unto me. So the next step, when we then think of, okay, so now we are doing some kind of service, what are the ways of, to reach to that platform of unalloyed devotion, unalloyed devotional service? So the 2 points that mentioned, Srila Prabhupada mentioning, it's very important that for performing devotional service, it is important to remember why we are doing it and whom we are doing it for. It's very important, like whenever we perform the devotional service. Because that will always keep you on the check. That if I'm progressing towards that path of unalloyed devotion or alloyed devotion. Alloyed devotion is like, mixture bhakti. Sorry. So, always like, we know that, there are so many services, there are so many things that we do. But at some point of time, and why Srila Prabhupada is mentioning there, but because if some point of that time, that personal interest creeps in, then that unalloyedness, like, it's gone. Then it's mixed with something. So why we are doing it for? So thinking like, and why? So please Krishna. So if I do this action, will it please Krishna? First check. Okay. And then whom we are doing it for? Is it, because then the check, like, is it for me? Or is it for Krishna? Krishna means like it's for the devotees, like Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So that's why, like, progressing towards that path of unalloyed devotion, it's a very hard thing. Because we are in this material world, there is this mode of nature, there is all these things like, passion, ignorance, goodness. It's mentioned that, it's interesting when I was reading, saying that if a devotee is in a mode of passion, then that devotee see Krishna only in a form of deity. Like, if in like, a Uttamadhikari see Krishna in everyone's heart. In everyone's heart. So that's why the love towards everyone is there. But when that mode of, and it is also a little bit of goodness, but not, it's probably a like mode of in the transcendental stage. But little bit goodness and passion, they see that Krishna in the deity form. And people who are in ignorance, they cannot see Krishna at all. Rather, their characteristic is they get very envious. Because then they try to see that if something is happening good, it's like, if someone is trying very hard to perform a good service, rather than helping them, they become envious. And they say, oh, this is not right, this is not right, this is not right. So that's very interesting, like, how that characteristics happen, that, when someone goes into that mode of ignorance, then it's only fault finding. Like, only finding faults. So not seeing Krishna at all. Then the next stage is, okay, like, the purification is happening. So you can see Krishna, like, and you have that attraction with the deity. So Radha Gopinath, like, very, very dear deity to us. We see Krishna through Radha Gopinath. But the highest stage is that devotee, Uttamadhikari, see Krishna in everyone's heart. So that if someone is seeing Krishna in everyone's heart, then he will not harm anyone. And then that verse, Pandita Samadarshina, that one becomes like, effective. Like, then you see everyone in the equal stage. So that is that when you like, then you are doing that. And because at the background, that unalloyed devotion, that your devotional service is in that stage. Because this is all happening side by side. You are trying to serve the Lord. You're trying to serve the Lord, like, without any self-interest, without anything. Like, your only motive is to please the Lord. When that is happening, the cleansing is happening, and then basically you are just, then whoever is coming to you, whomever you are going to, whomever you are preaching, or whomever you are trying to do some service with, everything will fall in nicely. It was said in the lecture that you don't have to do any extra work to create a devotional atmosphere. If you perform your duty nicely, the devotional atmosphere will create itself. Like, you don't have to sit down and think like strategy that, oh, so how we create the atmosphere. You perform your service, and then it will automatically come, because obviously the potency is there. You are trying to serve the Lord. So the Lord will help to create that atmosphere. So that's why, we see that if the Lord's mercy is not there, then nothing will happen. If someone goes away from the Lord, if you are doing something which takes you away from the Lord, although you think that, okay, I'm near to the Lord, but actually it's taking you away, because you are not doing it for the Lord, you are doing it for yourself. Then basically there will be no good coming out of it. A very nice pastime that I was reading, that, during in Ramayana, when they are about to cross the ocean, right? And they have to create this bridge. So the monkeys, they're thinking how to create the bridge. So they just simply started to take the stone and started throwing in the ocean. And then, obviously, they wrote Sri Ram on top of every stone. And then those stones were floating on the ocean. And then Ramchandra came there, and he was saying that, oh, nice thing, let me also help them. So he took a stone and he threw in the ocean. And the stone didn't float. He took another stone, he threw in the ocean. It also didn't float. And then Ramchandra came to Hanuman and said that, what's happening? You all are throwing the stone and it's floating, it's creating the bridge. But when I'm throwing it, it's going down. Then Hanuman said that, my Lord, in this stone we are writing Sri Ram. And this stone has the Sri Ram written on it. So they are helping us. They are when we are putting, the potency is there. But when you are doing it, you are throwing them away from you. So when the Lord is throwing away something from himself, how that they are just by their they are very sad. They are just going down. They say, the Lord is throwing us away. On the contrary, we are putting the Lord's name there. So if the Lord actually throw out something, although he is very loving and caring, but sometimes if our wish is that we want to get ourselves away from the Lord, then what's going to happen? Like the stones, we will be going down too. So I thought that was a very nice example. And then similarly, we see that, Kunti Maharani here, before Kunti Maharani, Arjuna, Krishna asked Arjuna that, why didn't you ask for the Narayani Sena? Because they could have helped you. Then Arjuna said that, look, all of this here, this army, all these, weapons, everything is your energy. We know that. But is there a point to have all the energy but not have the energetic? Who is creating the energy? So it's better to have someone who is creating all this energy rather than the energy itself, because we know, and it's also science says, energy is something it just convert from one thing to another, So today is something, tomorrow is something, you never know. But if you have someone who is the creator of all this energy, that person, that is the mood here. Similarly, Kunti Maharani, she is thinking that, what is the, suppose, this is the example was given, that a person is drowning in the sea, in a mid-sea, right? A person is drowning. And there is nothing nearby. And that person doesn't know how to swim. So if you then suddenly pray to the Lord, Lord, please give a boat. And you see the boat is around 1 kilometer away. Will that boat will help that person? No, because that person doesn't know even how to swim and go to that boat. So if a person is already drowning, there is no use of that boat. So that's why Kunti Maharani was saying, she was completely surrendered. She could have, make arrangements for her, when all these injustices, all these things were happening in her life. But never, she didn't even bother. She knew that this material ocean is such cunning and is such dangerous, it will get you one way or another if you don't take the shelter of the Lord. So that was her mood. So now we see that from here, the mood is set. So we know that what is Kunti Maharani's mood is, and then now the prayer will start. So when we understand how Kunti Maharani's mood was, then when she was praying to the Lord that, okay, please keep me always in the misery, then we understand. Without that, it's not easy to understand that why she's praying to the Lord. Everybody come. Krishna is always in the lecture, it was said that Krishna is always our last option. Like if everything happens and we try to do everything and we couldn't, do it, then the last option, let's go to the temple and pray. If it happened, Krishna is our, the last option. But Kunti Maharani make Krishna is the only option. Only Krishna. So it's a very nice verse, I think, because today is the last day of Damodar month, and everyone actually go through the Damodar month with trying to do different services, extra services, but it's creating a very nice mood. So today, if we take this mood that, okay, that complete surrender to Krishna, and then we start from tomorrow, all the Damodar months finished, but it's like we wait for the next Damodar month with this mood that, how we can go towards this unalloyed devotion. It's hard, but all of us together, helping each other with Vaishnava association, as we say, Vipra, Dharma, and Achyuta Ashraya, we believe that we will reach that. So it's already time. So thank you very much for coming and joining the class. So today we'll have the last Arati, evening, Damodar month Arati. And I guess whoever is doing the fasting, probably after the Arati, they will break the fast. So thank you all. Granthra Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Samvita Gaura Bhaktavinda ki.